Correctly with the correct amount.
D20 Radio, where gamers roll.
www.d20radio.com.
Roll for Initiative.
Greetings and welcome to the Roll for Initiative podcast. This is issue number 20. We finally made it to the 2-0 podcast. I am one of your hosts, DM Vincent, along with DM Jason and DM Nick. Jason, how are we doing this week?
Hey there, doing great. How are you doing this week?
Just wonderful. Nice hot summery day. Getting really hot in there in Pennsylvania. Nick, how you doing back there?
Trying to cool off just as much as everybody else here in the Buckeye State. So,
Yeah.
But doing well. Looking forward to this week. Starting hopefully a weekly game with my kids every Thursday. That AD&D game that we did on a couple weeks ago. So
Your camping trip?
Yeah.
yeah, on the camping trip. So hopefully you're going to make that a weekly thing every Thursday afternoon. So
Cool.
we'll see how it goes.
You bought them books and everything, you were saying, right?
Yeah. I bought them books a few months back. I found the 83 covers of the Player's Handbooks. I found like a half price books for like maybe $3.25 each. So
Nice.
pretty jazzed about it. Pretty cool.
Oh, they got their first book from Dad to play a game with. That's awesome.
Yeah. Continuing on the next generation.
That's right. And so we'll do real quickly because some people had asked what our website, rfipodcast.com, rfistaff@gmail.com you can contact us with, or you can head to the Facebook site, facebook.com/rfipodcast. We also want to take a second to acknowledge D20 Radio, and we thank them for sponsoring us on their network. You can go to d20radio.com for all the 19, 20, 22 podcasts they have on there about a variety of subjects. You want a podcast, you name it, they probably have it there. They have every edition of D&D, including Pathfinder at this point.
Well,
Yeah, if you want to go listen, go take a shout out there and join the forums and listen to all the podcasts. Sounds like a plan, right?
sounds like it to me.
And we'd also like to take a moment to thank all the people that have given us 5-star reviews.
Yay!
Let's hand it over to Jason.
Yes, thank you, everybody. So just to kind of show our appreciation for that, I wanted to read a couple of the ones that are on here. Actually, pretty recently, Liam DC Bahoy said, I haven't played AD&D since the early 1990s. After opening up the old Player's Handbook just to have a look, I decided to look for podcasts dedicated to AD&D First Edition and found this gem. Now I'm definitely wanting to get into a First Edition game. Anybody in Northern Virginia interested? So,
Well, all of
use
our
that.
folks in Virginia.
yes. Then we have one here from a week ago from Jakey Danger, who said, Roll for Initiative is by far the coolest podcast I've ever heard. Old school gamers need to check it out if they haven't already, and new school gamers should too, to see how great real D&D is. Fear not the mighty Thaco. And Duke Steele, who
Awesome.
apparently has found out what my birth name was and adopted it for his own, says, it's super. Check it out if you like to roleplay, and even if you'd like to roleplay, spelling it with the L's and the E's. And so I'll stop there because those are good. Those are great, and thank you everybody for saying the nice things, and we appreciate the 5-star reviews. And I don't want to sound like we're pimping for stars. So if you don't like it, you're welcome to go and give any kind of review you want. But we like the 5-star ones especially. So
Yep.
thanks.
Well, yeah, you can obviously give us, a
You can give
4-star
them a-
review if you want.
We'll
Yeah.
accept 4 stars.
Yeah,
Even 4.5.
you can't do that.
So
Nice try, though.
But seriously, thanks everybody who's been
Yes,
doing
thank
it.
you so
It
much.
helps a lot. It helps a lot.
Yes.
it just shows our listenership is growing and growing. It's just really cool how much we're reaching out to everyone.
Yes. And let's head over to the Sage Advice section.
Sage Advice.
Welcome to Sage Advice. So what do we have?
Sage advice.
That's right. Nick, you want to take the first section there?
Yeah. Got a couple here. I guess George writes in and he asks a couple of questions of us. And
George.
hello, George,
Hi,
wherever
George.
you are. I wish my brother George was here.
Boy.
Wah, wah. Anyway, one, he asks, where can I find, if it exists, a master list of everything ever published made for first edition AD&D? I already have plenty of stuff. I want to begin working on my collection towards the end goal of having as near to all of it as possible. Well, George, excellent question, and I have an answer for you. There's a really good website, and I've been using this one for years and years. And see if I pronounce it correctly. It's acaeum.com. www.acaeum.com. And they have a concise, complete list of everything first edition AD&D. All the modules, all the books, all the accessories that were ever out. So it's a good one-stop shopping place, at least to get a concise list of everything. And you know, if you're a completist like I'm trying to be now, that's a good place to go. Yeah.
Does that? I haven't actually. I've been to that site before, but I didn't go recently. Is it just the TSR stuff that they list?
Just TSR.
Okay.
If you're looking, if you're talking about like Judges Guild, I think they've delved into that a little more. From what I understand, someone's trying to do a Judges Guild list too.
Yeah, I've seen some lists that are out there. And Rolaids was always one of my favorite publishers as well.
Yes.
And now that we're saying this, I probably should have looked up beforehand, because when I was at Gen Con last year, I met some people who were putting together a book that was going to do exactly this, a collector's guide to all AD&D materials.
Oh, wow.
And actually it was really good because I talked to them. I have a couple of the old Hobby Shop catalogs. I don't know if you remember the Hobby Shop, which was... Yeah, which was TSR's actual catalog order. So I gave them some scans of that. And here we go, the mail order Hobby Shop. So they are, let's see, Debbie Hunton, Gamers Rule. They are putting together a catalog, but I can't find the name of exactly what it is. So I'll try to find out and put something on the website. But
cool.
Anyway,
but
I know
is
that
a good
there's
start.
a
So, a good start would be acaeum.com, and we'll put and in fact, I think on our website, I do have a link to them. If I could double check here real quick, I'm pretty sure that we do have a link to acaeum.com. So, let's see if I could pull that
we'll
up.
Put it up on the site.
Yeah. In fact, yes, they are. They're there. Look under First Edition AD&D resources on the main page, and it's right there. The Acaeum.
Okay.
So there you go.
Well, bam.
And then his other question was, one of our podcasts that we had in the past, you heard us talking about old cardboard cutout minis. I used to have some of these, but don't remember who made these. Or who made them. Could you guys point me in the right direction? Well, fear not, George. I have an answer for you. It was Cardboard Heroes by Steve Jackson Games. And I just went there recently on the Steve Jackson Games website, and they have a concise list of everything they ever published, going back even to the early 80s now. And they have it listed to where alphabetically, stuff that's either still in print, or it's available digitally, or out of print, or coming soon. So if you look up Undersea for Cardboard Heroes, right now the Dungeon 4 plans are still in print, and the fantasy sets for all the different characters and monsters like orcs, goblins, what have you, those are now available for download as PDFs, I believe. So they are available. Before they weren't, because I bought my set like years ago, and it was like out of print after that. So now they have those fantasy sets available again for PDF. So if you want to make a massive amount of works for an army, boom, there you go. So there you go. Check out Steve Jackson Games there, George, and they'll have it for you.
And I just did find that book that I was trying to find about. The website is gamers-rule.com. So gamers-rule.com.
Cool.
And they have just come out with a book called The Ultimate Unofficial Collector's Guide to D&D.
Oh.
So it's $15 on their website, and it covers everything going back to chainmail and the first box sets. It says here the first volume goes from chainmail and the first box sets all the way through the classic D&D put out in large boxes in the 90s, along with all the modules produced for basic D&D. It looks like actually this one might be only for D&D. I think they're getting ready to do the second volume has AD&D. There we go. So there's 2 volumes.
Okay.
First volume is OD&D, the second volume goes AD&D,
Cool.
and it actually follows it all the way up through 3.5. So somebody that's interested in the whole continuum. They look like really cool books. So if anybody gets one, let us know how they are.
Yeah, let us know how they are. Give us a review.
And if you do buy one if you buy anything from somebody you hear about on the podcast, please do us a favor and let them know where you heard about them. We're not getting anything for it, but it always helps for people to know that we're here in case someday we want to go and say hello. I don't know.
Yeah. I
mean,
follow
we're
you.
not gonna
I'm with you.
not gonna get any free swag or anything, but I guess it's nice to be acknowledged.
It could happen in the future. You never know.
Never know.
Okay. And I think George has one more question left. He's talking about trying to find local groups in his area,
Yeah.
in the tri-state area. And he wanted to know of any suggestions that can help him out. Well, I know one big suggestion is called meetup.com. There's quite a few D&D type based groups on there, people that meet in local areas. There's one for my area. I'm sure there's one for his area as well. You just sign up there, put in your name and your zip code and everything, and you put in D&D and you'll find probably a plethora of groups.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm not sure. When he says tri-state area, that's a pretty big.
Yeah, I know.
It's a pretty big area. I mean, if you're here in New York City, George, drop me a line. So
Yeah, because you're talking
I'm
what?
actually
New
trying to
York,
add
New Jersey, and Connecticut, right? When you're talking tri-state area, right?
Pennsylvania.
I would assume. I mean, that's what I usually think.
Or
No, I think
Okay.
isn't tri-state New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania?
Well, Connecticut's closer, so
Yeah, I don't know.
who
Whatever.
knows? I don't know. But either way, I mean, it's pretty far to go if he's in low in like southern New Jersey or something. So, but whatever. Maybe some people who are listening to the podcast, if there's anyone who's in the area that wants to go on to the Roll for Initiative Facebook site or to the rfipodcast.com, go ahead and organize some stuff. Just put your
There you
name
go.
up there and see if you can find anybody.
Sounds good.
nice segue
And
of plugging the website. I like it.
Boy.
Actually, doesn't D20, the D20 radio forums and maybe Dragon's Foot have some looking for games forums?
Dragon's Foot does.
Yes.
I know that. I've seen it there.
Dragon's Foot has a looking for players forum. Yep, you betcha.
Yep. And I would recommend checking out D20 forums as well. Obviously since that's our network. So.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to go on to our next question by DM Keith, and I'll read this one. And Jason, you're going to be the one to answer this one. So,
Am I? Uh-oh.
yeah, you're on the spot here, buddy. I want to try my hand at writing a short article. Do we have a list of? I lost my paper here. A list
Desired topics or
Thank you.
articles.
Yes, that he can submit. And is there any guidelines for submitting it?
Okay, so I'll start with the guidelines, and I'm going to use the talk about the guidelines, first of all, as a little bit of an apology to some of the writers that we have right now, because we have Todd Hughes and DM Bill, and I'm making sure I get everybody listed here. We have Matt Ide, or Ide, I'm not sure, and PC Buzz. So when people submit stories to the website, I have to go and proofread them, make sure that they're in decent shape before we can put them up. So I'm not always the fastest at that because I've got a lot of stuff going on, but that's no excuse. So first of all, by way of apology, I'm sorry that it takes me a while to proofread those, but that kind of leads me to the guidelines if you want to write for the website. what would be really the best is if you're a good proofreader of your own material. And I don't mean spell check, because spell check doesn't catch things. I mean, can't catch homonyms, it can't catch punctuation and grammatical oddities. So I really, really appreciate it. The more carefully proofread something can be, if you have a friend that can do it, the faster I can get it up on the site, because then I can just sort of eyeball it and say, okay, up it goes. We're still working out how to make tables work properly, because being an AD&D website, obviously tables are going to come up all the time, and
Of course.
our blog publishing software doesn't make that too easy, and I'm working on that. So aside from that, as far as things we might be looking for or guidelines, I think something that would be really great is articles about campaign settings and adventure settings, things that people can really use in terms of practical stuff. We have a good article coming up from Todd soon called My Marcania City, where he's talking about one of his settings. And I think those things can be really good. Todd's been doing some ecology of type articles. I mean, really, if there's anything that you think would just be interesting to write, the guidelines we kind of look for are the sort of things that you might expect to see in a Dragon magazine, from the 80s. So
Yeah.
So when it comes to the email, when they email the rfistaff@gmail.com, do you want them just to send an article in so you could just glance over, and then you'll contact them back?
Yeah, or even just if they don't have a complete article written yet, just kind of say what it is you're interested in writing, and I will get back to you with a login for the website so you can post things, and then I'll go through and proofread to publish it. And if I haven't read the article before, I mean, if we've never seen your writing or anything, don't be offended if we choose not to go with it, because we give a login, it's just the easiest way to get the stuff up. Not everybody has exactly what we're looking for. It doesn't mean they're not good writers or whatever. It just might not be appropriate for a first edition site. But put something up and we'll talk about it.
Sweet. That sounds like a plan. Okay, we have one last email left. Jason, you want to take that last email?
Okay, so the last one looks like it comes from Emil Larson. And he writes in, and he challenges us to say his name correctly. So I hope that I've said Emil Larson properly, and if I haven't, he can let us know. He says, "Greetings from the cold country. Greetings from the cold country of Sweden. So I was listening to issue 19 and thought I should share my way of doing NPCs. Right now, my group is playing over Skype. Nice.
Nice.
So I just do most of the dialogue in character. When we play around a table, however, I act out a lot, at least with large hand gestures. So
Cool.
excellent.
So you just
I like it.
Yeah.
We're reaching all the way out to Sweden, to the Vikings. I love it.
Boy.
And wait, didn't we say Spain also?
And Spain.
Oh yeah, we just got an email. Just came in recently from Nacho, coming from
Nacho.
Hey, Nacho from Spain. He says, "Hey DMs." He loves First Edition himself. He mostly got started playing with basic D&D or Second Edition. He said that First Edition never got translated back in the day I guess, in his country. So he wanted to know, I guess, Nick, you probably the best person, which module, official or available on the net, would you recommend for a short 3 to 4 session adventure, and what level? I want to put the fear of bizarre and unpredictability of deaths back into my players. By the way, no Tomb of Horrors. We did that in Second Edition. Enjoy the...
Well...
Keep up the great, excellent show. I really enjoy the podcast.
Well, thank you so much, Nacho, coming from all the way there in the Iberian Peninsula. Or the... Yes. All the way there in Spain. So, net levels he was looking for, 3rd to 5th, you were saying?
Yeah, I just said a short 3 to 4 session adventure, and what level would you recommend, I guess?
Oh, and what level? I would say one that would be good, short adventure, just a standard dungeon crawl, 3 to 4 sessions. I think White Plume Mountain's a good choice.
Nice.
5th to 7th levels, It's got a little bit of everything in there. Hopefully, you'll be able to hear a review from Blackstone's Vault on that. But just throwing that out there, that's a real good one off the top of my head. That you could do in probably like 3 to 4 sessions.
Secret of Bone Hill.
Secret of Bone Hill, another good one. Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. I would say, and that one's more of a sandbox type.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, and that's like levels 2 to 4 coming off the top of my head on that one.
Yeah, I was going to say 1 to 3.
Part of the Lendor Isles series, and excellent module. And that one's, I would say, you could do 3 to 4 sessions, but you could also stretch it out a little bit on that one. But maybe even Ghost Tower of Inverness might be a good one as well. So, yeah, I would say those 3. That's a good place to start, and you can always check dragonsfoot.org. I think there's a couple that might be good for a couple sorts, sessions of 3 to 4 meetings. So
I'll tell you one.
Yeah.
One suggestion I might make is a more recently published module, also called the Curse of the Witch's Head, which is from Expeditious Retreat Press.
Oh, yeah.
And,
yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good. I would say it's probably a 2 or 3 session one, and I'd have to check the levels, but I think it's for around 3rd to 5th level. Really, really good, really, really great module. And is he saying that he was going to just have the players jump in at that level, maybe create their characters at that level?
He doesn't actually say. He just wanted suggestion for. He pretty much wants an old school feeling.
Well, I was just going to suggest that if he's looking to do that, there's finding, as far as getting the giving them some characters to get started with as well. If you can find some Judges Guild materials, whether it's through one of the companies like Troll and Toad or on eBay, if you can find a way to pick up fantastic personalities, I'm actually using it for our little encounter today, and it's one of the best. Just quick, I need a character of a certain level with lots of background, really richly written, interesting characters as well. So you might try to find that old Judges Guild book, Fantastic Personalities.
Yeah, I forgot about those at Expeditious Retreat Press. I have a couple of those. I'm trying to remember one. There's, was it the Podmaster Sister Shroom or something like that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, it's like a levels 2 to 4, and that's a really good one too to try out. But go to Expeditious Retreat Press. Just type it in on any browser search engine, you can find it. So,
and those guys, I mean, it's a small company of gamers that are really committed to the game and to putting out really high quality stuff. Incredibly nice people, really care about their customers. So, it's worth throwing some business over there.
Yes, the Pod Caverns of the Sinister Shroom. That's what it's called. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. Nice. It was a weird name. I'm like, yeah, I have that one. It's really cool. I hope to use that one in the campaign I'm using with my kids. So.
Okay. Oh, we got this surprise. This I looked in the email, and here's another email. Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Hey.
This one is from Doug. Doug says, I love the podcast and never did first edition myself, got into AD&D second edition in college. That's okay, Doug, we forgive you. Never really got into third edition or fourth edition. And he wants to know, he has 2 questions for us. Have you folks ever gone over any first edition retro games in your podcast, like Swords and Wizardry, Osric, or Labyrinth Lord? Yes, we have. He's like, I may have missed them. I think we did that way back, Jason. Now, you and I did that like maybe 3rd or 4th episode, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that.
We should actually try to find out what that is so we can say it here. But you can still listen to this show by going to rfipodcast.com, and if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see all the past RFI issues there. And I don't know which one it is. We've got a primer on old school gaming, where to find first edition books. Who did we have on that was a publisher of one of
the Matthew Finch.
Yes, so maybe if we find the Matthew Finch show, that would be the one to listen to for that kind of thing.
And he did go over Osric and Sword and Wizardry pretty heavily.
Yes,
I don't think we did in the Labyrinth Lord, though.
Or
no. Castles and Crusades, if that's another one I think off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm. So
Anyway,
I don't
we
know.
can
I
always-
think that was.
You can also
Yeah.
go
Yep.
to Facebook and listen to all the old shows if you don't feel like downloading them. But we'd rather you just go straight to the website.
And
there's-
that's something maybe we might want to do for another episode, maybe go in a little more detail on some of those things so people can, see what else is out there, too, that's like, first edition AD&D, and if they can't get the books, they can get something real close,
His last
Yeah.
question is also, do you know if there's any second edition retro clone games out there? My search comes up empty. Keep up the good work, Doug.
I
That's
haven't heard of
interesting.
any.
I
Well,
don't
if anybody
think there is.
who's listening to the show knows about any, please go and leave a message on rfipodcast.com so that we can, let them know.
Best place to look would be dragonsfoot.org with their second edition forums, or was it Knights and Knaves? Ale House?
They're more first edition. I would say probably dragonsfoot.org might be the best bet if you want to look for anybody who might be creating a second edition AD&D retro clone.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess that's going to wrap up Sage Advice for this week, unless you guys have any closing comments.
No,
I
it's
have
just
no idea when he was on the show. Look at this. I can't find it on our website. We need to fix it. We don't know our
yeah,
own.
get on that.
Yeah.
That's
Sorry.
okay. We'll post it up in the show notes.
Yeah.
Then let's head into the Dragon's Horde.
The Dragon's Horde.
So with the wonderful Dragon's Horde this week, what do we got?
Well,
We got a custom magic item sent in
yes,
from
our first one, I think.
Yes, actually, it is our first one. It is coming from Crispin, our young listener, who got his stuff from his grandfather, if you remember from last episode.
Yes, very cool.
Yes, he said his grandfather made this up for his character, and he sent it in to us. So, Sword of No Return. He said this is a blade made of bone with grooves that run down the blade, channeling the blood into the stones that appear to be red rubies, called bloodstones. The blade is covered in runes, and the handguard is shaped in a pair of obsidian claws. Ooh, sounds kind of cool. The bloodstones are the source of the blade's magical powers and draw the power from blood, which must be replenished regularly. If the bloodstones are not fed, and he put the fed in quotes there, at least once a month, it will lose 1+ of magical ability per month that it goes unused. The Sword of No Return is always hungry to be wielded in battle, and will seek to control its owner to ensure its constant feeding. Ooh, sounds like an ego intelligence weapon. On a natural 20 to hit, the sword drains 2 levels as a spectre. Ooh. Any creature
Yikes.
killed by the sword has its soul absorbed by the blade. It cannot be resurrected or brought back to life by a raised, dead, or directly worded wish spell. Wow.
Yeah.
It's considered a short sword, +2 to hit, +5 to damage if used within the past month. It detects good. I guess this is made for an evil character.
Wonder.
Detect good, evil, 60-foot radius. Detect invisibility, 10-foot radius. Detect magic, 30-foot radius. It has an intelligence of 17, an ego of 16, and an alignment of chaotic evil.
Really?
Yeah, it speaks common, and it has the ability with telepathy with the wielder. So, thoughts?
So,
this is-
first of
yeah.
all,
Jason, go
let
ahead.
me just make a couple of caveats on here. And Crispin, you may notice that this is not the exact wording that you sent in. I did go through and do a quick little bit of edit for publishing out onto the show. So, just because we wanted to have the wording, something that we felt like reading out here, but I did actually make a little bit of my own tweaking here. So I hope that that's okay with you, Crispin. I apologize. I do want to point out which it was so that we don't miscredit anything that you've done. The bloodstones and the blood flowing down into the hilt were original parts of this, and I was trying to understand, well, what would be the meaning of doing this sort of thing. So that's why I added in the bit about making sure that the bloodstones are fed at least once per month. So if you were to find one of these, or not one of these, it sounds like a unique item. If you were to find this unique sword, it would not likely be on its own. It would always be doing whatever it could to attract a new wielder to go out and get it these souls and get it this sword, or get it this blood. And also he said in there that the sword, if you were killed by the sword, You cannot be raised by any means whatsoever. And so I was trying to think about what exactly that would mean. So basically, it would be the soul being. I was thinking, is it like a sphere of annihilation? Is it like a 9 lives stealer? What sort of thing is it? And so the soul would be absorbed by the blade, and you wouldn't be able to be resurrected or brought to life. But I did say you wouldn't be able to use a directly worded wish spell. So in other words, we talked in the past about using wishes.
Yes.
This would be the sort of thing where you couldn't simply wish the person back to life because the soul's been in there. Maybe the gods don't have the power to do that or whatever. But you might find a way to word your wish spell differently, whether it's turning back time so that this hadn't happened in the first place or something else. I wanted to give some clarity to that.
Well, reading up on the Sword of No Return by Crispin, who said, and by the way, really cool magic item that your grandfather came up with. This, I'm reading about it, and I'm thinking, this is like Stormbringer's lesser-known cousin. You know?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, this is a type of weapon, and Jason brought this up. I think it's a unique item. This is something along the lines, again, if you're familiar with White Plume Mountain, like Black Razor or Helm or something like that, this is a magic item, at least approaching how I would use it in a campaign or in a game. This would be like the goal of a quest to get. And depending on the group that you would have, how I would run it, if you had a mostly, good group, this might be a weapon that you would want to recover. Say, maybe there's a race against time. Maybe you and one other group that's maybe evil is trying to get this one all-powerful sword, the Sword of No Return, and you have to get it before the evil party gets it. Or maybe some sort of evil ruler, or maybe a Death Knight has this sword, and you're on a quest to defeat the Death Knight and get this sword and destroy it, or something of that nature. Just some campaign ideas how I would use this particular item, in one of my games. So that's how I was kind of looking at it. I could think of really cool ways of putting this into my campaign. More than likely, I will use it sometime in the future.
What level would you say this would be around?
Oh my gosh. I'm probably thinking about 8th, 9th level or higher.
Yeah.
Probably around there. 8th through 10th level.
I was just thinking about maybe 7. Maybe the lowest 7.
Yeah, 7 or higher. Yeah. But I like the whole idea of like a quest, either surrounded to get the sword so another group won't get it, or maybe a quest to destroy it. Something like that. Or if you're we have mostly evil party, maybe your quest is to get it and wreak havoc across the world. I don't know. Whatever trips your trigger.
Yeah, I was looking at this. I'm like, this is really, really cool looking sword and has a really cool looking abilities. I'm thinking, I don't know if I want this in my game though, because it's going to bring a little more trouble than it's worth. Maybe, I don't know. But I'd like to see more of what Crispin's grandfather has done with magical weapons, because it seems like he has the really creative mind going on for him there with evil items. So I kind of like that.
Yeah, I do too. And I think we need more stuff like that. I think it brings a lot more to the game. So I'm interested to hear what Crispin's grandfather had too, and anybody else, if they have some original magic items that they put into their campaigns. Either something as powerful as this or something rather, mundane. We will definitely take a look at them, and chances are they'll end up on the podcast or on the website, and send them in.
I think that's a good idea. I think we should, maybe going forward, if someone wants to submit a custom magical item for the Dragon's Horde, we will take a look at it and see if maybe we can do a review on it. I mean,
absolutely.
You never know. I mean, we won't. As Jason usually says, we're not going to hold back. No, he doesn't usually say that.
Of course not.
We're going to be honest, is what he usually says. That's what Jason always says. Be honest.
I never say any of that.
Yes, I know. But what do you think about that, Jason? Someone submitting a magical item in the future, and we try to review it like we did here.
I think that'd be really cool. If we get enough people doing them, I'd love to put a few of them up on the site and let people kind of vote for which one we want to bring up on the show. But for right now, let's just get some in. So people, please send yours in.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, because, like all of us, if you've been, gaming as long as we have, or, not long at all, I'm sure, I know I have them the past, sit there, it's like, well, I have all these books and have all the magical items. What can I make up on my own? What would be really cool to make? And you have all this wealth of information you made for yourselves. Now here's an opportunity to bring it out.
Yes, show us your creative dark side.
Yes.
Okay, we'll end this and we'll go right into table manners tonight.
Typical. Of all the evil creatures in the world, I had to find one with table manners.
What are you kidding me? I spent years cultivating the worst table manners on the planet.
Table manners.
So for table manners tonight, we actually have a fun little hobby that a lot of people like doing, and you could probably hear it in the background there.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Yes, this is called dice collecting. How much is way too much?
Never.
Well, I think the first topic we have here is, does a person really need that much dice? Do you really need to come to the table with that much dice? No, you do not.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm tired of people coming to my table with 2 pounds worth of dice. No.
I know. I hate that. I mean, seriously, if you're going to bring dice, bring enough. 2 pounds is weak sauce.
Oh, God.
Well, if it gets to the point where you have to take out a small loan to go buy dice, I think you might have a problem. But other than that, do you really need that many? I don't know. I mean,
I think it depends. If you had to go searching for a special dice bag because none of the ones that they sold at the hobby shop could hold your dice, then yeah, maybe you're carrying too many with you.
well, there's always those cool Crown Royal bags.
Yes.
That's true.
Those hold a lot.
Or you could get one of the great bags like one of my players, also named Jason, that we bought for him at Gen Con last year, which was a bright pink bag with unicorns and hearts all over it.
Wow.
Oh, God.
Nice.
We make him bring it every game.
I have my friend Frank. He makes chainmail, and he does sell it. He makes chainmail dice bags, and they're pretty cool looking. So he'll do custom stuff. But my dice, my friend Jeff, I talked about him in the past, who's the Dragonlance fanboy.
Yes.
He made a box for my dice to be put in. It was before I went to, it was before I went to Iraq, and he gave me this box he made, and I have the box right here. You can hear me opening it up and everything, and it's got foam on the top and bottom of it, and it holds probably about I could probably hold about 12. Maybe 15 different sets of dice in there.
Wow.
And that's all. That's
I
all.
thought
I
you were
really
saying 15 dice, not 15
Yeah.
sets.
No, 15 different sets, and I love it. I've been using it for 6-7 years now, and on the top of the box I have all my skull stickers, of all the PC kills that have been made to me when I was a DM. So
That's pretty cool. It's funny because last time I was at a truck stop, I noticed that if you go into the right section of a truck stop, some of the merchandise they have there is incredibly similar to the stuff that you'll find in a gaming store.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know how I felt about that as I was looking at all of the dragon ashtrays and skull boxes and stuff. But there were I have to admit, there were some pretty cool carved wooden boxes at the Sapp Brothers truck stop. So,
crossing of subcultures there. You never know. Truckers and gamers.
And metalheads. So
there you go. Well, there you go. There's a trifecta right there.
I think one of the coolest boxes that you can get are the ones that are the dice towers as well. It doesn't matter. You can roll your dice just fine and randomly on your own, but it's pretty fun to drop them through the little dice tower.
Yeah. I remember... Now, going on the opposite part of the spectrum here, I know people that have gone completely diceless. I remember the Dragon Bone. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Dragon
long...
magazine.
It looked like one of those I can't remember the name of the game that it looked like. It looked like
From like Dark Tower game?
It looked like a game of Master.
Yeah.
But I've actually, that's funny because I've got a Dragon magazine open here for something we're doing later, and I actually have an ad for it in this magazine.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I remember those, and now you can get online randomizers and all that stuff, but I like having the dice.
No fun. Well, for one thing, they're not random. I mean, you cannot have a true randomization coming out of a computer, no matter how random. Well, not like my dice are that good either, but... Oh, that's crazy. Sorry, I was just flipping through here, and I was going to make sure that we talked about Game Science dice.
Yeah.
The precision dice. And I'm looking at this issue from December 1981, and there's a full-page advertisement for Game Science showing how they're precise, unlike the other dice. So I guess they've been around longer than I thought.
Yeah, Game Science been around a long time. In fact, yeah, I remember I have the Best of Dragon Volume 1 I have. There's advertisement for Game Science, and that was like back in 80, 81. So,
yeah.
But I do have one pet peeve about dice. I don't like it when players don't bring their dice. And I had one player like that. Always forgot to bring his dice to the game. It drove me nuts.
Well, that's why you bring so many. That's why you bring, that's why I have about 6 sets that are in my
Call me
bag.
superstitious, but I don't let people borrow my dice.
Yeah, but what about
You're
the people
superstitious.
What about people that like don't
Bad
touch
karma.
my dice?
Bad dice karma.
Don't touch my dice. Those type of people. You can have like 20 pounds of dice, but if you touch one of them, that's the end of the dice.
Nah, I'm not like that. I'll let people borrow mine. So
I have a friend. I have one of my friends in my group. If you touch any of his dice, he practically throws it out. He goes through this whole ritual with his dice.
Yeah, I won't even go. I'm not going near that one. It's just, I tell you, my favorite dice to roll are, the metal ones. I really like my metal ones, but when it comes to actually playing, if I need to make sure that, that I have any idea that the game's going right, I do prefer to use the Game Science. I've got a glow-in-the-dark set and an orange set that I have to admit, you can actually tell the difference. You always have the dice. You're like, that's my high rolling dice. That's my low rolling dice. But it's true. They can tend to get a little bit weighted and inaccurate. So I do like, even though when I use the accurate dice, I notice that a lot more rolls sometimes go against me because I was, the real randomness. But they're really enjoyable. So I like those.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, why don't you take a second and explain a little bit more detail with the Game Science dice and where you can get those, so for some people who don't understand that out there.
Okay, sure. So the thing about the way that dice are made is that they're cut off of a sprue, like if you were looking at a model airplane kit or something. You've got those little bits that come off. And when they do that, when they come off of the sprue, there's a little bit where it broke off, just like a model airplane wing. When you break it off, and if you're making a model race car or whatever, you have to file down that bit. And what most dice manufacturers do, because they're making a lot of dice, is they take those dice off the sprue and they throw them in a vat. And two things go on. I don't know if they go on at the same time or if they do it at separate times, but they roll them all around like in a rock tumbler, and that's how they get the edges off. The sprue breaks off, and they also just kind of throw all the paint on all at once as well. So what you get is a die that has been rolled like it was in a rock tumbler and had paint thrown on it, so there's no real precision to where there was more or less paint, and the edges get really rounded down. So what Game Science does is they break them off the sprues. They do not, they don't roll them or do any of that or whatever. They don't tumble them. So every one of their dice has a little nub where you can see that it was broken off the sprue, and incredibly sharp edges. So you can tell it's never been rock tumbled, and they come. The plastic is the color of whatever the plastic was. They don't paint them. And they will hand ink the numbers on them, so that when you get them, you usually get them with no ink on them, and you have to do them yourself with a pen, or if you catch these guys at a game store, they'll do it for you there. And the result is that they're evenly weighted, and they're guaranteed to be random. And we actually sat down and like dorks, rolled, a bunch of 20-sideds over and over again and saw the difference. And it's true. They really are more random.
Cool. And you can buy them anywhere online?
Yeah, I think I wouldn't know right off the top of my head who has them, but Game Science, they're really easy to Google.
Yeah.
And
okay.
I think they show up at every convention. The one thing, though, with Game Science, they do make a few. Who's rolling the dice?
That's me. I'm sorry.
All right. They do make a few that are kind of specialty. I don't want to call them novelty dice, but they're not your standard, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 20. They also make a 3-sided, a 5-sided, a 7-sided. And so they're kind of weird polygons, and I wouldn't use those for accuracy because we tried them out, and like the 5-sided, it's not really random. And I think they make one called the D anything, which is it looks kind of like a dodecahedron, and you roll it, and it's that one dice. The way that they've done it, it can actually be a D4 or a D100 or a D20 or whatever you want it to be, which is kind of cool, and it's fun to get. I've got another pair here that are what's the word I'm looking for? Base 12. What's base 12 called? Hexadecimal.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have a pair of hexadecimal dice, which have, they go up to FF.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, no, it's not base 12. That's base 16. I'm sorry. Base 16 goes up to FF. And those are awesome because then if I need to quickly generate a random RGB color for a website,
Yeah.
I mean, they have no purpose other than that, but I like having them. So,
Hey, Vince, is there any favorite dice that you particularly use? Any particular brand?
No particular brand. I have my one set of orange. They're like kind of an orangey color with black specks in them, and it has gold for the letter numbering. And those are usually my best dice to roll. But I had for the longest time my group a player that kept rolling 20s on me, right? And I couldn't figure it out. And this is the same guy that wouldn't let you touch his dice. Obviously, this is the reason coming up why. I found that he had a cheater die.
Ooh.
Yeah, he had a die that had 3 20s on it.
No.
oh,
He scoured
that's like the lamest way to cheat ever.
He scoured the internet and found what is called a cheater die, and it had 3 20s on it, and he bought it and didn't tell anyone, and he just mixed it in with his dice and pretended to use it on random. And I'm like, dude, you're no longer allowed to use that dice. That's really not cool.
That's scum.
How is that any fun for him either? I mean, I get it. It's fun to roll a natural 20, but you got to feel kind of like an idiot when you're sitting there going, "Oh, natural 20," and it's not a natural 20.
Yeah.
I mean, how's that fun? If there's no chance if you don't have a chance to die, then it's not a game anymore. Then it's just racking up points or something.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever.
But I did have in my former group when I lived in Connecticut, this one guy, he was from, I forget where the foreign country is, Croatia.
No.
He was part of the Coast Guard exchange program. He was a Coast Guardie over here. We're at the Coast Guard Academy up here in Connecticut. And Groton, Connecticut, or was it New London, whatever. And every time we played, he would roll 20s nonstop. I mean, like every other roll, 20. He'd be like, boom, 20, boom, 20, like that. And we were like, yeah, okay. So we kept giving him dice thinking maybe his dice were fixed. And he would take our dice and roll 20s with it. And he didn't have a special way or like a cheater roll or something. He just rolled and he always got a 20 somehow. I don't know how he did it. He just had a magic touch with dice, and we would always laugh because he'd be like, 20, 20, 20. And he did it.
I heard those Eastern Europeans have a special way.
Yeah.
So.
I'm actually I'm exactly the same way, except I always roll a 1.
Oh, wow.
So
I had a set like that I don't use anymore. The big oversized sets that you can get? I have a red set of those. Never use them again. Never, never, never. Because I was always rolling like ones for fumbles or failed saves, and was always when I DM for my group, I'm like, never ever again using that set. So, but some of my favorite companies, I like. I haven't used Game Science, but I like Chessex. I like Chessex.
Afraid you were going to say Chessex. Really?
I do.
Well, they look cool, but the Chessex are the ones that I always end up. They're always weighted.
I've never found that problem. I always thought they always had cool promotions at conventions. You can do the Muggo dice.
Yep.
There's always a huge gaggle of people around their booth where you can get the big Muggo dice. And if you go on eBay, they got the Baggo dice that you can buy, and it's like completely random stuff out of their stock. But still, if you're going for an economical way, Chessex is really good, and I also like Crystal Cast. And they become a recent favorite of mine the past few years because they do these special dice for Origins and Gen Cons, the commemorative box sets. Crystal Cast.
Cool.
Those. And I've been collecting those since like 2004 for Origins. And every year when I get dice, that's the only time I get dice is I get the commemorative sets now. But Crystal Cast is a really good one too. In fact, I think they're the ones that also make dice out of precious stones.
Oh, yeah, so that's the one other thing. I mean, before we take the dice talk too long, but I didn't want to miss out on things like, sure, there's precious stones and the bone dice, which are kind of fun to get. Although they're usually really small, and I don't know if the very tiny dice are very random at all, since they're so
in
small.
fact, they have their latest deal, I think, is now they have dice that are made out of meteorites.
Oh,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that'd be good for when you're playing Traveler or something.
I even think they did dinosaur bones too. I'm almost certain of it.
I don't believe you.
Check. I'm almost certain of it. It was either like mammoth or dinosaur bone that they did. But
Mammoth,
check out
maybe,
Crystal.
I'm just going to disbelieve you. I rolled a disbelief.
I disbelieve.
I disbelieve. What's my saving throw?
Okay, 13 or better. Roll.
Yeah. Okay. I disbelieve in the mammoth bone and 8.
Oh,
I guess I believe you.
Yeah, you do. Believe it or not,
Yeah.
and you can disbelieve this, that's going to end the segment.
Oh.
Creature theater.
All right. Creature Feature Theater. Again, by popular demand per our listeners, we're going to do some play.
Yay!
Yeah, so let's try it out. Now, I don't know if I can promise everybody is a consistently high-quality experience or not. I haven't taken the time to put together any sort of backstory to this, to this encounter. And in fact, as we're speaking, I'm quickly trying to dig up a very old dragon because there's a nice critical hits and misses table a little optional one that I like to keep around because it's pretty fun. So I think I've got it here. And because hey, it's always fun to get a critical hit, right?
Yes,
There.
and
Okay,
if this was a normal session that we were playing, of course we would stop, look things up, and chatter. But this is all streamlined for a podcast, so we may have to just do things quickly, as in just say.
Ready for me to fudge a couple of things, but that's all right. Yeah. So
just assume we have the Doritos and Mountain Dew out.
Exactly, right?
No crunching.
So here we go. We're going to start out with again. I've pulled out a couple of pre-rolled characters for you, and I grabbed them out of the Judges Guild's fantastic personalities. So why don't you guys go ahead and introduce who you're playing?
Go ahead, Vince.
All right. Jason has given me Eladin. Is that how it's pronounced?
Now it is.
Okay.
Because I don't know how to pronounce it, so you decide.
Or Eladin? I don't know. Eladin, we'll call it that.
Eladin sounds great.
Yes, it's an elf, a fighter, magic user, chaotic good. It's 7/11th level. And I have a Balrog's Bane, a famed sword of ice, frostband, +4. Is that intelligence? Yes, 12. Chaotic good. Cast Ice Storm as a magic user, 10th level, once per day. Nice. He has a bunch of spells, and that's just dandy. Over to you, Nick.
Okay. I am playing Chagus the Twisted.
Ooh.
12th level cleric, human, and he's chaotic good. Got some pretty good stats, and let's see, he's got a Mesa Disruption. And a Staff of the Serpent Python, and armor class 1, and the bunch of good cleric spells. So I am ready to go as Chagus the Twisted.
Chagus the Twisted. All right. So I'm going to place you at the mouth of a very large natural cave, very overhanging natural cave. You're sort of on the side of a mountain right now, but the area that you've been coming up is a trail. It's late afternoon. The sun has just started to go down, and you haven't been in any encounters or doing any fighting today. So anything you have on your spell tables are still there. You're at full hit points and everything else. You're approaching, so as you come up the path, and I don't have a backstory for you, so listeners, fill in your own backstory. But as you come up the path, as I said, the sun's been going down. It's getting a little bit foggier as you go up, and you begin to notice that the path is becoming overgrown with a sort of a moldy, mossy kind of brown. Well, it's your 10th level. You can recognize brown mold when you start to see it. So you haven't stepped on it, you haven't come up to it yet, but you can start to see bits of it encroaching upon the trail.
Okay. Well, I think we're going to be heading up into this natural cave, this opening. Before we go in, I'm going to cast Bless.
Okay.
So I'm going to have that going for us, and that should last, if I remember correctly, it's 1 round per user, so per level of the user. So,
well, we're not going to get through 12 levels or 12 rounds in description, so we can assume that Bless is cast on you both.
Right.
And I'm going to count on you guys to keep track of your own adjustments like that.
Okay. Yeah. No problem.
Along. Okay. So, as you're entering the cave, do you want to do anything to avoid the mold? Do you want to go near it or anything like that?
I know not to light any fires.
Yeah.
So you're not novices. Okay, good.
Well, first thing we're going to do is turn around and go back to the town because we're done with this.
Okay. So as you turn around, a giant boulder drops in front of your path, keeping you from going anywhere the DM doesn't want you to go.
And it says on a note on it, this is a podcast, keep it streamlined.
Exactly.
He thinks we should go this way, Eladin.
I'm gonna get a closer look and see where this is all coming from, and is it going straight right into the cave up the wall, or?
Well, one thing you notice as you're investigating the brown mold and not touching it or doing anything like that is that it's not just growing wild. It seems to have been cultivated a bit. In other words, it's almost as if somebody was gardening this stuff.
So it's not like in random patches. So
no, it seems to have actually been cultivated and shaped, and it looks like some of it has. You can see some patches that have been clearly removed, as if someone or something has come along and actually harvested some of this brown mold.
Interesting. What would eat brown mold?
People who are on a brown mold diet.
Macrobiotics.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
Maybe we should get a sample of this so I can study this for. Oh wait, this is not a scientific game. Never mind.
Yeah, wrong genre.
Sorry. I think we should creep in a little bit and see what else we see inside this dark cave.
Yeah, I agree.
The boulder behind us prevents.
I'll follow you, Eladin.
Okay, and be sure to tell me everything you're doing, because if you don't say it, I assume you're not doing it.
I have my Mace of Disruption at the ready.
Okay.
I have my famed Sword of Ice at its ready.
Okay, Mace and Fane. And Fane sword? Well, anyways. All right. You step further into the cave. Remember, you're not deep in or anything. The mouth of the cave is still overlooking the mountainside, and you can see out to all of that, so don't worry, you're not trapped inside. But as you step inside, once you get about 15 feet into the cave, you hear a rustling and a thump, thump, thump dropping kind of sound behind you, and you turn to see that your exit has been blocked by 6 large creatures. They're about 6 feet long quadruped, sort of almost insectoid looking, about 6 feet long and about 3 feet high at the shoulder, with a really black, slimy kind of skin. It almost looks like it's gangrenous. And dark, midnight black eyes, and a pair of sharp prongs at the front. And they rush directly for you. Now, before we roll initiative, tell me what you're going to declare your actions before we pick the initiative.
Vince, are you gonna cast? Are you
something
gonna cast
something I
anything?
failed to do last time properly?
Yeah. I'm going to detect dancing light. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to prepare and cast. I'm going to try with a sleep and see if I can get some of them to be knocked out with a nice sleep spell.
Oh, okay.
And Chagas the Twisted.
Yes. Trying to think if there's anything in my spell repertoire that might help on this. Maybe speak with animals, but they seem to be... I don't think they want to communicate. You know what? I think I am just going to help defend the Eladin while he's casting his spell so it won't get disrupted.
Okay. So you'll be using your mace.
Yeah, I'll be using a mace and shield and take a defensive measure, so hopefully block any blows that might be coming towards Eladin.
Nick,
Okay,
you got
roll
that,
initiative. Roll initiative. And whoever wants to roll it for the party, go ahead.
You go ahead.
All right, I'll do it this time.
Yeah.
5.
Okay, 5, and I've rolled a 3. But before you make any assumptions, okay, yeah. So what I'm actually doing, I'm using segment of action. So that means that the the monsters that you're fighting will be beginning on the 3rd segment, and you'll be beginning on the 5th segment. That's how we're going to be handling the initiative there.
Okay.
So, this is bad news for you because I'm going to just randomly decide odd is Chagas. Okay, so Eladin is attacked by all 6 at once.
Oh.
They all rush straight for you. And Eladin, what is your armor class, please?
-50.
Okay. And what is your armor class in the AD&D game?
Oh, I'm sorry. 2.
You were thinking of the one in your imagination.
Yes, that was the wrong one. Sorry.
Yes.
I was thinking of my god character. That's what I was thinking of.
Yes. And what is your armor class, please?
2.
2. Okay, so they're going to need an 11 to hit you, and I will give you the roll for each one.
Did I say 2? I meant 0.
Yes. So the first one misses you.
Haha.
Rolling a 4. The second one rolls a 7 and misses you.
Haha.
The third one hits you square on with a 16.
Ow.
Then a natural 20.
Oh, I'm going down.
Oh,
and a 16.
Oh.
And a 9. So luckily only half of them hit you.
Yeah.
So the first attack, all 6 of them rush directly at you, charging you with their horns. So they're only getting 1 attack each. And the first one hits you for a damage of, let's see here, I've got 6 to 16 damage, so that would be D10. All right, D10 plus 6. Yeah, that sounds right. So the first one does 3 points of damage.
Okay.
Okay. However, in addition, you feel your life energy drain from you as you're hit. You've just lost 1,000 experience points. Yes. Now, the next one, you have just been hit with a critical hit. And so I'm going to go over to my optional little bit of fun here. From Dragon Magazine number 39, Good Hits and Bad Misses. I will now use the critical hits chart for... gosh, they don't really get a critical hit. I'm going to give them one anyways, because if I'm going to roll this, I want to have some fun with you.
Boo.
So
thanks.
I'm going to use it
Nice
as...
guy.
I am a nice guy. I'm going to use it as a thrusting weapon. And rolling a 45 means triple damage. So in this case, we're going to see what kind of damage you're taking on that. Where'd that D10 go? Ooh, 10. So that's 30 points of damage and another 1,000 experience points. So you've now lost 33 hit points. And how's that high-level character doing now?
That high-level character's not doing too well.
I guess I'll be doing a Cure Serious Wounds on you sometime.
Yeah.
And the third hit comes in and gets you for 7 plus 6, so 13 points of damage. So you've got a total of 46 hit points of damage, and you've lost 3,000 experience points. Now, Chagas, you were attacking with...
I have a quick question. Is his spell disrupted now?
His spell is disrupted.
And
his spell is disrupted.
Wouldn't I have to roll...
This is why we roll the initiative after you declare your intentions.
And wouldn't I have to roll a system shock since I've taken almost 95% of my hit points there?
Well put.
Yeah, you do. You need to make a system shock roll.
I have a constitution of 13, so if someone could quickly look up what the...
System shock is 85% or better.
Ooh.
Well, actually, if you roll below 85%, you're okay.
Well, now you're going to be rolling. I think your fighter is going to. The fighter part of you is going to have the better saving throw, correct?
Well, it's based off of Constitution.
No, it's based off of Constitution.
Okay.
So yeah,
go ahead
you
and
roll below 85%.
First number is an 8.
Oh no.
89. I'm down for the count.
Oh.
Can he get a mulligan?
First hit. That is a hard first hit. A critical hit, and you failed your system shock.
Oh, I'm down.
He's unconscious.
I'm unconscious.
Okay, so Chagas, it's down to you. You've got 6 of these creatures who have all piled on your friend, and you are attacking with a mace. However, it is a mace of disruption.
Yeah, but they're not undead. At least I don't think they are.
It did just drain 3,000 experience points.
All right, well, you know what? All right, I'll swing at the nearest one.
Okay, so you are going to hit against an armor class of 4. That means you've got to get... Let's find this here. You've got to get a 10. That's not bad.
I rolled an 18.
Nice. Okay. And give me your damage on that Mace of Disruption. I think it was...
What do I roll?
I believe it's a D6 plus 1. Or
So
D6
it's
plus
D6.
2, sorry.
It's a D. Yeah, it's D6 plus 1.
Okay.
1.
Well, one of them seems to notice that he's actually been tapped on the shoulder by you.
Yeah.
So that's good news.
And obviously he's... Yeah, so...
Okay, so as we enter into the next round of combat, please declare your intentions Chagas only.
Okay. Well...
I play dead.
Let's see. Yeah, you lay there like a slug.
I've got to keep this a little bit. You did not You did not go unconscious. Yes, you did, but that's going to ruin this point. So, Eladin, you are not unconscious. You actually rolled a 40, not an 88 or whatever.
Ha-ha!
Oh, we're fudging. We're fudging. We're going to hear about it. You know it.
You know we're going to get an email.
Fudging. I love fudge. It's tasty. So, Chagas, what will you do in this round?
Let me see here. Let's see here. He's close to me. How can I? So he's not out. Eladin's not out.
No.
No, he's still on his feet.
Okay.
He has been hit hard, but he's still on his feet.
Can we? No, I can't. I can't move and cast. Never mind. Shoot, because I got the perfect spell that will protect us.
You're right next. Oh yeah, that's true. You're right next to me.
Now they're close within melee. At least we can cut some of them off.
Mm.
Okay, I'll do it.
Basically, what they've done is surrounded. They've surrounded Eladin, and they're just kind of piling on. It's like a horrible football scrum, a rugby scrum, or something.
Okay, I see.
It's not pretty.
Okay, so yeah, I wouldn't cast this spell, and damn, I should have cast it earlier. Well, you know what? I think I'm gonna do. He needs some healing badly, so I think I'm gonna do a cure serious wounds on him.
Help me.
Yeah.
Interesting. May I just suggest
No.
Okay.
the cure serious wounds that you do also prevents you from attacking any of these.
Well, it's either that or he dies.
He may well die, but we also are trying to illustrate what these monsters can and cannot handle when you
Okay,
attack.
I will attack the same one as I did before.
With anything particular?
With anything, yes. With, I think, the Mace of Disruption again.
I might point out that the Mace of Disruption does not seem to have had the effect one would expect
How
it to
about
have upon
the-
undead.
How about the Staff of the Serpent?
Excellent. So
Yeah.
what will be? So you will do what with your Staff of the Serpent? You have a couple of options. You can drop it and do a python.
I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to have it
Okay.
become the Constrictor Snake.
Okay, so you're going to python it up. All right, and Eladin.
Eladin is going to take his sword that he can barely hold in his hand at this point, and he's going to attack the nearest one to him as possible and hack it into a million pieces.
Okay. Will you use any of your special powers of your sword?
He will use the Frostbrand.
You'll use the Frostbrand. Meaning what? Would you want to use the Cone of Cold or what? I forgot what it was exactly.
It just says Frostbrand, so I assume it's some type of cold.
You have the power to, once per day,
Cast an Ice Storm?
Ice Storm, there you go.
Yeah. Okay, this is what brings up a quick question to me. Will this cast an
Yes.
Ice Storm inside of a cave? Because we're not outside.
Yeah, this will.
All right,
I'm
so
just
then-
going to go ahead and for the purposes of what we're doing right now, I'm going to say yes, it will. I'm going to let you make the attack and have Ice Storm be combined with the attack.
All right, I stick my sword up in the air like He-Man, and I call upon the Ice Storm gods to rain ice and shards down upon these creatures.
Rain
Excellent.
down icy death on these little buggers.
Rain down
Excellent.
icy death.
Now let's roll initiative for this round.
Nick, you go since I did bad last
Okay.
time.
I've rolled a
I
5.
rolled a 2.
Good.
Neener.
Excellent. So you actually have the drop on them this go round.
Oh.
That's nice to know. So, Chagas, you drop the python, the staff of the serpent to the ground, and it
I do
turns
my
from
Charlton Heston bit from the 10 Commandments and throw down my staff.
changing from a 6-foot staff into a 25-foot python. It goes out and wraps itself around the first of these creatures and gets it into a vice-like death grip. I think I actually better roll the hit on that just to make sure
Yeah,
he's
it's
actually
a,
doing so. And actually, I rolled for you. Sorry, I was thinking about it with
Yeah,
the
no
staff.
problem. I was.
If you're interested, I rolled an 18.
Cool.
Do you want it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so the first of these bizarre creatures is entangled in the serpent, and he is unable to do anything at this point.
Aha.
Eladin, you hold your sword into the air, calling forth the mighty power of an ice storm, which rains down upon everything in the cave, both of you included, of course.
Yes, I know.
And and you, even in the midst of the melee and the chaos and the fighting going on, are somewhat surprised to see that it seems to affect them absolutely massively, not one bit.
What the deuce?
Not a single bit of damage has been done as a result of the ice storm that has come down upon them. Let's actually see, what does the ice storm do.
All right.
To have the
Eladin takes his...
this is,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was going to say, Eladin takes his opportunity to crap in his pants at this point because he's doing nothing to them.
You'll have to roll for that, I'm afraid.
Oh, darn.
So, you know what? I'd have to flip through to grab the ice storm here quickly. And again, like you were saying, if we were playing this in-game, we'd have everything on the spot and accurate. But let's not even worry about that right now, because the attacks are still going against Eladin at this point. And what is actually happening, I probably just flubbed this one a little bit, because here they actually get 3 attacks in this round, which means that I think one of them would have naturally come first.
You want me to roll the damage on the ice storm? I got it right here.
Yeah, why don't you roll that while I'm pulling up
It's
their
3d10.
The ice storm magically kills you dead forever. No, let's we'll let them get their hits. Okay, honestly, the ice storm would have pretty much just taken Eladin out.
Yes, the ice storm has just killed me.
And I just
unless
and
Nick
I just
rolls
took
3
points.
16 points. Okay.
Well, here's the good news. Because all of these creatures were piling on Eladin, they won't be doing any more damage this round because all their damage is going towards Eladin, who now lies.
You shouldn't have worn that red shirt. You shouldn't have wore the red tunic today.
I couldn't help it. It was a really sexy color and it went well with my eyes. And sorry.
Chagos, we are in what I believe with some credibility to be possibly our last round in this encounter. So what will you do with the 6? Yes, what will you do?
Run.
I cast Blade Barrier around me.
Excellent. Excellent. Roll
See
initiative.
if they can get through that.
Roll initiative, please.
I rolled a 2 again.
Ooh. I'm going to have to actually send you a photograph of this to prove it.
You rolled a 1.
Roll the 1.
Wait a minute. I did cast Bless. Doesn't that also give me a +1 to my initiatives, or is that just a hit?
Oh, does it? Then we have a tie. Excellent. So then it comes down to what is the casting time on Blade Barrier?
Casting time on Blade Barrier. Oh, my goodness.
How many segments?
Instant.
All right. I wish. Oh, my God.
What is it?
9 segments.
9 segments. So you would be actually using up this entire round to cast that. All your initiative essentially doesn't matter at all. Yes, you are piled upon, and just for fun, I'm going to go ahead and roll. What's your armor class? Let's see if they might all miss. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. They're actually going to need to roll 12s just to hit you. So that's a 13. So that's a hit.
1 hit.
That's a 7.
No.
Yes.
A 1. Critical fumble.
Yay.
Fumbarooski.
Fumbalaya.
3 more to go. That's a 19. That's a hit.
Ooh.
That's a 9. That's a miss.
Ooh.
And that's an 8. So not too bad. The first one hits you for, let's see here. Actually, you know what? I've got to roll a whole bunch of these because they're getting 3 attacks in on you. And all the attacks are going to come in on this round because with the 9-segment casting time and your action beginning on the second segment, you won't really be able to get your spell off till the very end.
Roll the fumble first to see if that one interrupts the rest of them.
Yeah, let's give it a shot. So rolling the critical fumble, going back to the tables here, we have... Come on, critical fumbles, where are you? All right. Do you guys want to roll the fumble for him?
Yeah, what's the... is there like a percentage roll?
Percentile.
Okay. I'll roll it.
Okay.
85.
85 means he hits his friend for double damage.
Haha.
So I will roll 1 through 6 to see which one he hits. He hits the 4th one, which luckily for you is one of the ones that actually was coming after you. And so hitting his friend, he ends up getting all... you know what? I'm just going to let these attack rolls that we just did count for all 3 of their attacks. I would normally let this out a little bit longer, but it's more fun for him to fumble all 3 of his attacks, isn't it? So he's got a claw, bite routine. So he claws first and hits his friend. What am I doing? I was rolling it to hit to see if he was going to hit him. Yes, he hits him because that was part of the fumble. So he hits his friend for... how many points of damage do we have here? Just a moment. For 14 points of damage, and he's still up. The next claw attack gets him for 9 points of damage, so 14 was a 23. And the next claw attack gets him for 16 points of damage.
Uh-huh.
So that would be 39 points of damage, and he's actually just killed his companion.
Nice.
Yay!
So that wasn't too good. Okay, so we've got the one hit that's coming on you that did manage to succeed, and we hit you for 15 points of damage with the first claw attack. And by the way, you just lost 1,000 experience points. And then also 13 points of damage with the next claw attack, which did manage to take away another 1,000 experience points from you.
So I had
and
13
finally,
for the second, and what was the first one? How many points?
what did I say, 15? Let's say 15.
15? I'm dead.
Oh, that's too bad because there was one more hit that landed
Oh, wait a minute.
on
I got 9 left.
Oh, okay. There's one more hit that landed on you, doing 3 points of damage. And
God. I'm at 6
and
hit points.
another 1,000 experience points. And let's go ahead and call it there.
Okay.
Because-
Oh, I want my blade barrier going off.
oh, well, your blade barrier wouldn't. Your spell was interrupted.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I mean, it takes 9 segments to do it, and during those 9 segments, you were being viciously clawed and bitten, so I don't think your spell would go off.
Pummel.
Okay. I
Okay.
have no idea what these things are. You got me.
Dun, dun, dun.
You have just encountered the Colful.
Colful.
Hopeful.
Colfel, the Colful. The Colful was created by Richard Lucas back in December of 1981 for Dragon Magazine, and I don't think, and I don't think the Colful ever appeared in any of the books. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I don't remember it ever showing up. Which I don't know why, because I really dig these guys. So let me tell you a little bit
it's
about
really
the Colful.
fun.
Yeah. Really. Yeah.
So let me tell you a little bit about the Colful.
He planned to
The
kill us.
Colful is a native of the negative material plane, which is why you were getting hit with energy drain every time. So it's similar to an undead by having the energy drain, but it's not for the same reasons. Like you saw, they're large, sort of insectoid-looking things, but 6 feet long, 3 feet high at the shoulder, very gross, slimy black skin, like gangrenous flesh, and these sort of pinchers on the front like a roach. It says here that they've only recently been appearing on the prime material plane, probably due to summonings by powerful magicians desiring greater and more powerful servants. They usually attack first by charging into a melee and spearing with their horns, and the second and subsequent attacks are claw-bite routines. They are immune, so they're several attributes similar to the Greater Undead. They are immune to cold or ice-based attacks of any form.
Okay.
However, it's kind of funny that you mentioned you were making fun of I think it was, what was one of your light spells? It wasn't Continual Light. It
Dancing
was
lights.
Dancing Lights would have actually been a pretty good thing to use because of their weaknesses. Their weaknesses are also related to the fact that they're from the negative material plane. You will never see them out in direct sunlight, and they suffer damage directly from any type of light that you use, whether it's a torch. I gave you a lot of light spells in your characters there. Light will do 3 hit points of damage. Continual Light will do an ongoing 6 hit points of damage. Pyrotechnics in the fireworks form will do 12 hit points of damage. Dancing Lights will do 1d4. Color Spray will do 2d8. Prismatic Spray is badass on these guys. It's a 4d6 against them. A Wand of Illumination, you've basically gotten rid of one because 66, because these guys only have 7 hit dice. So, but the reason that they can be so vicious is that one of their preferred ways to attack is to gang up on a single member of the party, all pile on.
Yeah,
So
that was obvious.
Yeah, so that's and one of the ways that you will know when a Colful is near is that they consider brown mold to be an excellent source of food, and so if they find they're actually of high intelligence, so they will nurture the brown mold and actually use it as a source of food that they will grow.
So
and
I
keep.
could have just cast my light spell, and that would have been doing what, like 6 points of damage around?
If you had thought we're going into a dark cave, perhaps we should see what's in here first and cast some light into the cave, you would have had the drop on them.
So I was stupid.
No, you just didn't know you were going up against Colful.
Yeah.
This is true.
Well, that's a cool monster. We have to post that
It
up for
is
people
cool.
to see.
Wow. That is
Yeah.
really neat. I want to use that.
Yes. You know what? I think we can post this thing. We'll see if anybody comes after us for just putting the stats up.
I don't think they. No, I don't think they. If it's just for stat purposing, and I don't think people from Dragon Magazine are going to come after us for something from 30 years ago. So. Yeah,
and by the way, Richard Lucas created this. I'm not really familiar with him as a writer, so if anybody knows other stuff Richard Lucas has done, or if you know Richard Lucas,
or you are Richard Lucas,
or if you are
cousin
Richard
of George,
then thanks for making such a cool monster.
Yeah, definitely. And people out there in listening land, RFI Nation, as we're calling them now, if you want to hear more actual play like this every podcast, feedback. This is a result of feedback, so...
Okay, this is just an idea, and I haven't asked you guys about this, but maybe we could invite, if anybody wants to try to stump us with a cool creature and would like to come on and walk us through something like this, that might be an interesting little guest segment to have.
Yeah.
Sure.
I like it.
So, yeah, I think that might be kind of fun.
That would be cool.
Yeah. So anybody who's listening, if you think that you've got a cool monster that you'd like to run through an encounter, why don't you drop us a voicemail or something? Because honestly, we need to hear if how you sound and everything. But we'll give it some thought.
And what Jason actually means by how you sound is your audio quality. So
yeah.
He doesn't mean by how your voice sounds.
Yeah.
I think that's what you should have said.
Yeah. Well, you fixed it for me, so that's all right.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, that's gonna put a wrap on the show tonight. Nail into the coffin. We'll hammer that one in, and we'll say goodnight to everybody. And DM Vince signing off for the cast, saying keep it original, keep it old school, and keep leaving us feedback, everybody. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.
See you next week.
Roll for initiative.